So while everyone is focused on the latest set, OP16 for the One Piece TCG, and the upcoming 4th anniversary set that's going to be out in August, there's been another type of One Piece card that has been under the radar for not 1, not 2, not 3 years, but 21 years. And these type of One Piece cards could in fact be the next Grail for the One Piece card game. So stick around because it's going to be a super interesting video, and we're going to be finally looking at the concept of vintage One Piece cards and their investment potential. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and real quick, a word from today's sponsor. If you're a One Piece card collector just like me, you know that some of the coolest cards, promos, and collectibles are only available in Japan. And that is where Buy comes in. Buy lets you buy directly from popular Japanese marketplaces like Mercari, Rakuten, Amazon Japan, Rakuma, and Yahoo Japan auctions. Then ships everything internationally right to your door. The process is super simple. You go on Buy, you find the item you're looking for, you click buy, it gets sent to their warehouse, they make sure everything looks good, and then they send it right to your doorstep. And to prove to you that Buy is a great service, I'm going to be purchasing this CGC Sanji Dan card, very special promo, only Japanese exclusive card from their site, and we're going to see how long it takes to get over here. And the best part about all this is that new users get 10% off their first order if they click the link down in the description below and sign up. Whether you're hunting for rare One Piece cards, Japanese exclusives, or even sealed booster boxes, Buy makes it easy to buy from Japan. I'm telling you guys, it's a great site. You're not going to regret it. Get some awesome Japanese exclusive One Piece cards today from Buy and enjoy the service they provide. So if that all sounds good to you guys, be sure to click the link down in the description below, sign up, enjoy your 10% off, and thanks to Buy for sponsoring this video. So guys, this is going to be a super interesting video. I'm actually quite excited to talk about this stuff, but I will warn you, it's going to be mostly speculation for now. However, the majority of things we talk about on this channel are basically speculation anyways, so I guess it's fair game. So to get into the whole premise of everything, Bandai created the One Piece TCG back in late 2022. And since then, we've got all the way up to OP16. There's a ton of fantastic cards. This has been the latest set, so people are obviously very excited about it and obviously focused on this as well. And of course, OP17, which is going to be the 4th anniversary set, and we're talking like OP05, OP09, OP13 level booster box set here. That's going to be released in August. But here's the thing. Everyone here is focused on the latest cards from Bandai's One Piece TCG set. But if you didn't know, Bandai actually created the very first One Piece card game back in 1999. That's right, we're talking about Hyper Battle. As you can see here, this is a very old type looking card, obviously in Japanese, but these are super vintage, super hard to come by. And if you go over on eBay, you can quickly see that a lot of people are trying to sell these vintage cards for quite a lot of money. But the thing about Hyper Battle is that we actually didn't even get the English versions of the One Piece card game until 2005. And that is actually when the Quest Begins had begun, I guess. And, these were the old vintage cards that were released. It only lasted for about 2 years, and I believe this was happening around the time when, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon were really starting to take off back in those days. I was in grade 5, so honestly, that does seem right to me, because that was when cards were becoming really popular, and, me as a young kid was walking around with my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I mean, it was a great time. I have great memories, but these were obviously very old One Piece cards. And you can clearly see here, there's quite a bit of selection. All of these seem to go all the way up to Arlong Park. These cards basically represent those episodes, and there's quite a lot of really interesting looking cards here. Now, some are shiny, some are not. There's actually a great article here from Slab Z, and they posted basically like a price guide talking about everything going on here. And this article talks about all these really interesting concepts, like the fact that this is like there's a ghost population for these cards, especially if they're graded, because there's really not a lot of information to find on these cards. They're very, very low supply. There wasn't too many of the English cards that were created. And it also goes through the types of rarity, like we had common, uncommon, rare, SRs, gold rares, and promos. And there actually happens to be a PSA pop count here for The Quest Begins. It looks like only 387 have ever been graded. It's not the most accurate, but then of course it just goes into more details about these type of cards. So this is basically what the pack used to look like, and it does look very vintage right now. And thankfully, it actually does seem to show us a bit of a pop count here. I mean, this is insane, guys. Only 23 ever submitted with a gem rate of 34%. We've got only one PSA 10 pop count for this Nami card here. 42 for Zoro and 16 for Luffy. I mean, like, this is absolute insanity. Now, guys, I want to take a step back and give you a little bit of hopium. If any of you ever remember coming across these cards here, there may in fact be a small chance that you still have these cards in a binder. Back when you were a little kid, you might have just put them away, forgot about them, you might have mixed them up with a Pokemon binder. It's really hard to say, but I'm going to tell you right now, guys, when I was seeing things on X popping up about the old vintage One Piece cards, you know, a neuron kind of fired in my brain. I was like, I know I had some of these cards somewhere. And I went through my old Yu-Gi-Oh binder, and guess what I happened to find? Could not believe my eyes, guys. And they are in pretty much mint condition, which is absolutely insane. And as you can see here, that is the Shonen Jump promo for the card. I believe this was actually from Shonen Jump itself, from one of the magazines when they were trying to promote the card game. So absolutely insane. And this is technically, this card right here is the first ever English Luffy card in existence. This was PR001. So could not believe my eyes. Never thought I would have a magical moment where I go through my binder and find some vintage first edition One Piece cards. Very cool stuff. And guys, like, I just gotta be honest with you, it's been absolutely insane how much the One Piece market has evolved. So while everybody was focused on the new stuff, there was still old stuff out there that is now becoming a very expensive endeavor. As we can see, we've got a PSA 7 from The Quest Begins. It's foil as well, with a total PSA count of 51, guys. And this is on the market for $275 right now. We've just got a lot of stuff on eBay, but I mean, like, this is crazy. Look at this one right here. We've got a foil Luffy card on the market for 15,000 Australian dollars. I mean, absolute insanity what's going on here, guys. So let's be honest here. This is mostly speculation at the moment. However, cards do seem to be pumping in price. We do seem to have people already getting their hands on these old vintage One Piece cards. And this is going to be my honest opinion about it. You know, Pokemon's old vintage sets are crazy expensive. They're very, very valuable, especially if you can get anything in a PSA 10. I think the way things are going, and, you know, just using my intuition here and pattern recognition, I think it's very clear to say this is in fact going to be a very big deal for any One Piece collector out there. And no, I'm not saying that just because I went in my binder and found 2 cards from the old set. I'm not. I really am not. I'm actually very happy about that. And as somebody who's collecting all of the One Piece cards, and I'm being very honest with that, I am not really interested in selling my collection. I want to just collect this stuff, and I want to be 80 years old and pass this on to my kids. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I don't give it to them. But I do want to state the obvious here. This, to me, looks like it's going to be very big. And I think these cards are going to be incredibly expensive, especially considering how low the pop count is. If we go back to the Slabsy website article here, I mean, these PSA counts are insane. Like the fact there's only one. There's only 4 total of Nami, the Mysterious Woman card. Just absolute insanity, guys. Like, these cards are so rare, man. They're so scarce. And listen, we know how scarcity works. Now, I'm not telling you to sell all your assets and buy $10,000 worth of vintage cards. That is not what I'm suggesting here. But I think it's very clear, guys, that there's a lot of potential with these type of cards. This is all speculation. None of this is financial advice. But if you're somebody who is very serious about collecting and you really do believe that this could be the next thing, because let's be honest, investing is all about risk, this very well could be something big. And honestly, guys, it was so obvious. It was such an obvious play here. Old vintage One Piece cards. Who could have saw it coming? Anyways, guys, with that all being said, it's hard to say what prices will be for these cards, but you know, with speculation comes pretty big price points, okay? And if you want to take the dive and buy something like this, I am not responsible, okay? I'm absolutely not responsible. These are insane numbers for these cards. All I'm going to say is they're vintage, and, you know, they would look great for a collector, but $41,000, man. Oh my God, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Crazy world we're living in right now. But anyways, guys, there you have it. That is a review of the One Piece vintage cards. I'm going to leave this article here in the comment section below so you can look at it yourself. But guys, honestly, these are pretty cool. I really do think that there's a lot of potential here. But if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and a video should pop on the screen. Be sure to click it, and I will see you over there.